Took some time to think about what you said. It wasn't right. Intentions we both misread. But pride aside, my actions I won't defend. No. And every time I see you, gotta hold myself down. I'm not used to the feeling, but it's pulling me now.
Okay, so I'm sitting here editing episode 1, and I'm so confused. Like, I don't remember saying half of these things, but oh my goodness, how has this poetry draft changed so much in the span of literally only 2 months? It is beyond crazy to me.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabella, and today you are watching episode 2 of Project Poetry.
Losing my mind since the merry-go-round. I lose trying to lie when I feel like I'm found. And now I want you. I'm out of control, my heart's feeling, got eyes on.
Hey guys, let's pretend I know when the last time I updated this vlog was, but I finished to read through a couple of days ago now. And now it's time to start draft 2, and I'm so excited. Okay, so I've already filmed like so many clips in this spot at this point, and this is the 3rd time I'm filming for another video. So, wow, it's been a long time since I have updated this vlog. I don't even know when the last update was, but I'm still on draft 2. I literally just finished to read through, and that's all I've done. I've done absolutely nothing. I've updated my timeline kind of schedule, and I've been like working on these other plans. I think I have a finalized cover idea I want, and I can't wait to like start working on that with my friend. But other than that, not much happened except my nail, this one, somehow broke. It was a bit traumatic. I don't know what happened. This happened on Wednesday, so like 3 days ago, and I'm not getting them done until next week, but I don't really know if I want to. Like, I want to use almost as a motivation kind of thing, which I know is super bad because apparently once you know like has some sort of issue, you should go in right away and fix it. But I don't have the time right now, and I have exams going on, so I don't want to go and waste a few hours in the salon just getting them done. So I'm going after all my exams are done, which is on the 25th of October. It's the 21st right now, so it's only like 4 days away. But at the same time, like, the damage isn't that bad that it feels kind of almost like not worth getting them redone. I was going to force myself to finish draft 2 and 3 and then get my nails done. But since draft 3 is technically going to be going out to my like friends and betas on the 26th, I'm going to try and have it done before then, so that I can not feel guilty about having these nails. As this is technically episode 2 of Project Poetry, also ignore the fact that the light is so blinding. I refuse to open the windows and the curtains because it's so hot today. And yeah, we're just going to deal with the sun shining through. I also look super shiny, which is not the vibe I'm going for. But anyhow, we're going to be working on draft 2 and praying that I can get it done in the day before like tomorrow. Meaning midnight. I am ambitious and kind of psychotic sometimes, so this is pretty common for me. But I'm thinking that I want to work on the storyline, get that fixed, because that's my main issue with draft 2. But once I fix the storyline, it should be pretty smooth sailing from here for draft 2, because it's just like minor changes. But the storyline is the major issue, and I'm worried about it. And I want to send it decently well to my friends and betas, so yeah. Let's go and fix the storyline, and then I'll update you hopefully sometime soon, and not on many weeks after. Hello, good morning. So it's almost 10 a.m. and I need to send my draft out to my beta readers tomorrow. I'm like not even halfway through yet. So today we're going to be doing tons of editing, and hoping for the best that we get this done.
It's not like that, please don't fight back. Thought we caused some scenes, can we get that time back? All my old shit that I put on you.
Hey guys, so I just finished editing draft 2 of Project Poetry. It's now 12 p.m. and I literally have 12 hours left to get it to my beta readers. Yay! But anyhow, I'm really excited. I'm really loving how it's coming along. I finished like the main edits of draft 2 that I took from my read through of draft 1. So those were all implemented around before 11 a.m, which was so good. And then from 11 to 12ish, I was like working on the storyline, like fixing all the little plot holes I accidentally created. So, I mean, at least they're all fixed now. So that's really good. So we're up to a read through for draft 2. And my main concern with this read through is going to be stylistic and more like, I guess, figurative devices. So I'm going to try my best to fix the little running metaphor I'm trying to get going through and like the extended like motifs and all of that. So hopefully that goes well. Now I guess the new plan for draft 3, and I'm hoping that we can finish draft 3 today as well. So it's just going to be a really productive writing day. I do want to film some reading videos, but we don't know how that's going to go. Also, I'm going to be getting my nails like off today. So that's going to be about like 3 hours gone. But it's fine. I don't think we're going until a little bit later this afternoon. So I'm going to try my best to read as fast as possible because I am such a slow reader. So hopefully for the best, I will finish reading quickly. And yeah, I hope everything goes smoothly and that the read through won't take me so long. So we can actually finish draft 3, which I'm kind of scared for because figurative devices, when I incorporate them into my writing, is usually where I feel like it's my weakest point. I do have a few similes and like metaphors inside the actual manuscript already, but they just don't, some of them don't fit, and some of them just feel so out of place that I've been editing them a little bit throughout draft 2, but now it's actually time to focus on figurative devices. And then I'll definitely ask my betas to like check over that. So if they feel like I need more, if it's not strong enough, the imagery is not good, etc., then that is draft 4's problem, not draft 3. So I'm going to go do my read through now. I think I'm just going to put a movie on in the background because, I don't know, I don't want to listen to music anymore. I kind of want to listen to something else. But the thing is, I can't work with movies, so this is probably going to backfire. If so, I'm probably just going to stick to music.
Want you, I'm out of control, my heart's feeling eyes on you. I just wanna feel where you make me feel strong like I'm healing stuff.
Wow, it has been so many hours since I last filmed. I think the last time I filmed was technically a time slap, but like the last speaking clip I might have done was like all the way back at 12 p.m. maybe, and it's been 6 hours since then. So basically what happened was, while I was working, I kind of got hungry, so I had lunch, and then I had to go get my nails off. And by the way, the damage, thankfully there is no like infection, but like my nail was half broken, which is kind of sad, but hopefully I can grow it back. It's not like it's going to be super long anyway, because I do need to wear contacts, and I can't use my contacts if my nails are super long, and I'm not used to them being long either. So we're going to try and grow them out at least back to like minimal length so that I can just take care of it for the month. I'm pretty sure I have like exactly 4 weeks to heal them. So this is like basically what I do. I always use my nail strengthener that my mom got for me ages ago, and I just always use it. Like, this is technically my second bottle and it's like halfway, but I've been using this basically since I started getting into like nail care, and I love using it to like hydrate my nails afterwards, especially when I do like acrylics. And I don't really get shellac often. I think this is like the main time I kind of like just got it like kind of often, But other than that, I usually go acrylic, so this is a must-have to heal my nails back. And it's not that strong of a smell, but it does have quite a scent. But my nails always feel so much better after putting this on. Plus, I don't know if it comes up very well. It doesn't really show up, but like my nails are pretty like scratched from the little tool thingies that they do. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and do this like I always do. And we're going to be discussing project poetry, because what better thing to discuss than project poetry for this little episode. So project poetry is technically in its third draft right now, and I just sent that off to my beta readers, so I'm really excited. Okay, why am I struggling to paint this nail? And I'm right-handed, so this technically shouldn't be hard. So anyhow, she actually responded like halfway through my workout, so I sent it to her at like 4 something, like 4:40ish almost. And basically I just sent her a little survey I want her to fill out, and apologies for that interruption. But yeah, basically she responded back, and she's gonna get started on it tomorrow after her exam. She has one more HSC exam left, so it's gonna be really exciting. But yeah, so basically I gave them the rest of the month to like just beta read and like help provide feedback and all of that. So it's only like a little bit over 5,000 words, the entire manuscript, so I'm really happy about it. It's not too long, which is kind of what I was aiming for. I was kind of scared it would be over 5,000 initially, but like now that I'm like constantly working on it, it feels kind of less daunting and like not as much, because if you watch my TikToks from my English extension major work, I did poetry, so the max word count you could do was 3,000. So I was kind of aiming for 3,000 again, but I guess this time there were just many more poems than initially, and also a lot more than I had in my major work. Anyhow, so my book is off with beta readers, so I won't have it. I'm technically on break now, so I did want to actually film this part because it is technically part of the process. But like there's nothing interesting happening, and I'm just literally going to be filming other videos, catching up on some reading. Like I don't know if you guys want to see that, because you're going to be seeing that in other vlogs. But yeah, I'm also thinking about my NaNoWriMo project. I don't know if I want to even participate yet. Like it's literally the 25th of October and I still don't know if I want to participate. I better make up my mind soon. But I kind of am leaning towards participating. It will also be my first year participating as a high school student who is no longer in high school, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, I don't know, I kind of want to like just zone in on project poetry, but if I do zone in on it, then I mean, it's not like I can work on it 24/7 either, and sometimes it will be off with others and I will need to take breaks from the project itself. So maybe it'll be nice to have another project, but like, I don't know what project. I'm kind of thinking one of my novels I want to write, but like which novel, I'm not so sure yet. Wow, I can't wait to film up the little like question summary at the end of the episode. That's gonna be so interesting and so cool. But yeah, that is the little update I have for you guys. And wow, draft 3 is done. Hey guys, so you know what this portion of the video is. It is our little question time. So I don't remember how many questions we have, but we do have quite a few. So as you watched this episode, you would have known that we read through draft 1, we edited draft 2, read through draft 2, edited draft 3, and then we sent it off to betas. So this is going to be really interesting because this is actually the first book of mine, like any project actually, that I've ever sent to a beta. So it was definitely interesting and I'm really excited and I can't wait to receive the feedback. So it is the 27th of October as I'm filming this, and I sent it yesterday at like 4:40ish, 4:30ish p.m. So it's currently almost noon. But that's fine. I will probably be going through feedback in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But let's dive into the questions for this episode. What was it like reading through the poems as a whole collection? Well, it was definitely eye-opening, and then it made me realize that I throw in a lot of like random imagery that isn't really like cohesive. So most of the time when I was reading, I was like, oh, okay, I need to change this imagery. It doesn't fit like this theme I'm going for. This motif is nice, but it doesn't fit as a whole. And like, it was just all of those nitty gritty things that I realized I had accidentally done. So it's very different. And also it is the first poetry collection that I've written without like help externally when I'm self-editing. So for my major work, I did have teachers helping and reading and critiquing the drafts, but this time it was just me doing it, so it was really weird and definitely a bit of an experience. And I guess it just made me realize that this poetry collection is not just like a reflective kind of like experience retelling, but it's also kind of a cute little story, if you know what I mean. But I'll kind of explain a little bit more for one of the other questions what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was pretty cute. It felt like I was reading this really sweet but heartbreaking story. Is editing poetry hard? I think this can like go both ways, but it really depends on the person. So I personally started off actually not liking this form at all. I was always struggling. I found it so hard to do any assessments when it came to poetry. It was like my least favorite form to ever work with when it came to creative writing. I don't know why. I don't know what was so difficult about it, but I think it was the fact that I was taught from a young age that poetry always had to rhyme. And of course, that is not true. If you read some of my poems on either YouTube Shorts, TikToks, Instagram Reels, etc., you know that most of those don't actually rhyme, let alone do any of them rhyme. I think there's like occasional rhymes, but like most of the time, it's always free verse. And oh my goodness, the first time I wrote free verse, I found that so difficult. I did not understand what was going on, because I was taught about all like the quote-unquote rules of poetry, that free verse just felt like I was breaking an English law. But it was definitely interesting, and I think I just kind of found like the poetry that I enjoy writing and like experimenting with my version of poetic forms and like mix and matching everything. So it's been more fun, and it has definitely made editing poetry way less harder. So it's definitely a lot easier for me now. But I feel like with project poetry in particular, editing this book was less difficult than when I was editing my major work. My major work was very, to say the least, intense. But I guess without like all these external pressures, knowing that this is going to go towards my ATAR, be marked as part of my entire year 12 course, it was a lot less stressful, and I feel like it wasn't as like demanding. Editing project poetry was so much calmer, and I had more fun with it. So I definitely enjoyed it way more. Also, please ignore my stomach. I don't know why. I'm literally starving for some reason, even though I ate like an hour ago. We will move on from that. But editing poetry for me right now is not as difficult. What were your feelings during draft 2? So draft 2 for any project is always my least favorite draft. That was so bad. Draft 2 for any project is always my least favorite draft. I don't know what it is. I think it might be the overwhelming task of editing draft 2. I always just procrastinate on it, and that's what I did again with project poetry. I was determined not to do so, but I ended up falling off that kind of goal, and yeah, we just procrastinated until like the last minute. So it wasn't really successful, to say the least. I felt very overwhelmed, as usual, with draft 2. I felt like there were so many changes I had to make because the storyline wasn't making sense. There was so many like random imagery. The imagery in like the beginning was not working. The running metaphor, I just completely forgot about it in the last half of the book. That was intense. And draft 2 is usually where I do like these big changes. So it always felt pretty pressuring and I just didn't really want to do it. So I just put it off. But once I like started editing draft 2 and like getting into a role with it, I think I kind of like calmed down and found out that it wasn't as traumatic or like intense as I expected or anticipated in the beginning. So draft 2 was working out and I guess you could say improving the story, but it also was the draft I realized that I made so many little mistakes in draft 1. But that's what draft 1 is. It's just for you to have like a canvas and like you have something on it, but draft 2 is like improving the canvas. I feel like this is not making sense. See, this is why whenever I do figurative language, it always goes all over the place. But yeah, that's how I feel editing draft 2 in a summary. Did you feel discouraged at any point in editing draft 2? The beginning. That was really easy. It's always the beginning. It's never like the middle or the end. The end is always the best, obviously, but it's always the beginning and starting the editing that makes me a little bit cautious and procrastinate. So I did feel very discouraged in the beginning. I did not want to start editing, even though I had all the notes. I knew what I had to do, but the amount of notes I had kind of made it overwhelming. So I knew I should have probably cut down on the notes, but it was kind of like critical that I included everything because I knew if I like didn't include it, I would skip over it and then I would never go back to it and I'll probably forget it because my brain can only remember so many things for each draft. And most of the time I just like take notes when I edit, so it definitely was important that I took all the notes down. But that is also bad because my brain cannot work when there is so many dot points going on and it feels overwhelmed. How does it feel taking a break from the book? Weird, I can tell you that for sure. Like, I know I had a giant period of time between my first draft reread and my actual editing of draft 2, but the book wasn't out of my possession. It was technically still under my control. I could still work on it if I wanted to. I could do changes, I could edit it, but I just didn't want to. But now that I'm taking a break from it and it's actually out of my control and possession, it's with my lovely friend and beta reader, it feels weird. Like, it doesn't feel like it's normal. It almost feels like I've published the book even though I know I haven't, and it's just in another like phase of editing. So it's definitely strange and I don't know if I'm liking it or hating it because I feel pretty indifferent right now. But we'll see, I guess, if it changes throughout the process. I think I'm going to get more attached to this book each time I like edit, rewrite certain parts, etc. It's going to become like one of my little babies soon. Did you like or hate editing draft 3? Draft 3 is always my favorite draft to edit. I don't know what it is. That's how I felt as well for my major work. It was my favorite draft. And it just went really well. I was really happy with it. So I was like hesitant at first because I was meant to do my draft 2 reread, which I did do, but I did that simultaneously while editing draft 3 because it just felt more fluid and it just worked better. I always change a bit of my editing process every now and then during the drafts. So whatever worked best, I'll just go with it. And draft 3, honestly, I think it came out pretty good. So hopefully there's not so many changes left. I try to like incorporate more figurative language and we'll see what my beta readers say about that because I think it's still questionable. I think there's a lot more editing when it comes to the visual imagery, the similes and metaphors, motifs, whatever other things I put in there because I don't even remember. But yeah, we just hope for the best at this point. Okay. Was it exhausting to keep working on the book? Not necessarily. I think I felt more exhausted studying for my HSC than I ever felt writing or editing this book. I think with this book, the only part that exhausts me is when I procrastinate and don't actually do the work, because it feels like I'm sabotaging myself in a way, and it makes me kind of upset that I'm not working on something that I really want to work on, but I just feel overwhelmed by the task. And I know there are ways to mitigate this kind of like overwhelming feeling, but I haven't found my personal strategy yet because I've tried a few. They haven't really worked for me. But yeah, working on a book probably won't get exhausting if you really like the project and if you're really passionate about it, which I am really passionate about project poetry. And I know it's probably not the smartest, but I do want to publish this book as my first book, even though marketing wise it's probably not the best move for my business. How did you feel finding betas? This was interesting. To say the least, I originally wanted to find 3 betas, but I didn't know who they were going to be. And since project poetry is kind of like a really personal, reflective book, even though it has a bit of a twist in the storyline, it was a bit strange. I was scared to like, I guess, contact people. My friends always beta read for me, like for my major work, so I knew they would be down to do this, but I was kind of more hesitant to contact them because it felt like it was a part of me, a super personal part of me going out, and I didn't know how to feel personally, so it was really scary finding betas. But in the end, I only found 2, and one of them is super busy, so I only have 1 beta technically reading right now. So this is really weird, and honestly I think maybe starting off small would be good because eventually there will be more beta rounds, so as the book progresses I'll probably feel either more attached to it or more right sending it out, because it's going to be one or the other. It can't really differentiate how I feel about the book because it is really important to me and it does have a really special place in my heart. How hard was it to find betas? I'd say pretty difficult, especially because I don't have many writer friends, so it was really hard to find any betas at all. I have like one friend who I know is a definite writer like me, another friend who like, I guess, jumps in between writing every now and then and painting, but most of my friends are like artists, illustrators, graphic designers, so I guess when you put it into the writing aspect it's a lot harder for them to give like feedback because they don't really know what I'm asking for or what I want them to look out for particularly, but they will be helpful when it comes to proofreading and like just catching any final like typos that might have slipped through, because they do have good English, like I guess pronunciation, grammar, spelling. At least that's what our report cards all say, so that will definitely be very helpful and they're very kind in helping me proofread this book. How did you feel sending your book to betas? I did not record this because I was working in like a pretty open space and I did not feel comfortable filming. So when I knew that draft 3 was finished, I quickly made a duplicate version of the document, which is how I always like send things out to betas, like I don't know why, and I created a Google form with questions and like extra stuff I wanted to know about how they felt when they were reading, and I attached that into like the header part of the document, and then I emailed it to them with a bunch of things I wanted them to look for. And it was really weird, I'll be honest. Writing that email felt strange and almost not like it was my book. It almost felt like I just sent some random project that didn't belong to me to someone else. I don't know if that made any sense, but it felt like I had completely detached myself from the book, and it was now not mine. I think I literally let go of my book when I was sending it off, which is probably a good thing because I need like space from it anyway. So once I hit send, it just like felt like a great like weight was lifted off my shoulders because I was kind of freaking out I wouldn't finish in time. So thankfully everything was done, and yeah, wow, it felt really weird. And now that I'm like actually saying it out loud and processing it, it feels strange that I have sent my book to beta readers. What are my goals for this break? So for this break, it is technically going to last until the end of the month, and technically October is considered Preptober, and I have been going back and forth debating on whether or not I want to participate in NaNoWriMo. And to be honest, I still don't know. November's going to be really busy, so I'm not sure if I really feel like participating in NaNoWriMo, but at the same time it would be fun because this is going to be my first NaNoWriMo out of high school, and then the next NaNoWriMo would be occurring when I'm in uni, which is probably the smartest idea. So I just kind of want to participate to, you know, get a feel of what it's like being out of school for once, because this is only going to last for 4 months and then I'm back in uni, and then who knows what's going to happen with life. Maybe I'll be too busy to write during NaNoWriMo. Maybe my job won't even allow me writing in NaNoWriMo. It's just, there's too many variables, so why not take this last chance of certainty that I can actually participate in NaNoWriMo. So I'm kind of leaning towards participating. I think I always was leaning towards it subconsciously, but consciously I just knew it wasn't really the smartest choice when I was working on Project Poetry. But since it's technically away from me right now, I don't have anything else on my mind or many writing projects going on, even though I have many ideas. But I think I want to work on one of my novels during NaNoWriMo. But none of my novels have been planned because I've been really busy with Project Poetry, so I'm going to be focusing on that for the break. And hopefully we will have one book that I am more than happy to work on for the whole month of November. That is going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't really know what's going to happen in episode 3, but I guess this is where we find out when we get our beta reader feedback back. I'm really excited and I can't wait to see where this project goes. But until then, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!